This wheel arch is bugging me. It's such an awkward shape. I'm trying to build a bathroom around it and I need to cover it up. Kia ora, welcome to our stairs. So in this video we're going to box in one of our wheel arches. One's going to be directly behind the bath, so there's not a lot we can do. We certainly can't take the same approach of that one. One's hidden by the couch, and one is kind of underneath the fireplace, so we don't want a wooden frame on that one either. So this is probably the only one that we will take this approach with. Because this wheel arch has a lip around it, that lets me build a smaller box on top of it as a platform to put my sink and stuff on, and a larger lower box around it having a two-tier kind of step thing which will take up a little bit less space, so I can build the bottom one out of a lighter material because it's not going to be structural, and then the top one can be a little stronger to support the sink. So the bottom box is about 1 metre by about 660. And to be about 160 high. So here's an offcut from the linings. Looks long enough. I'll get a metre piece into at 660, and then I will trim them at 160 high. Well, that was easy enough. This is a very cool toy. It's just air operated. This thing just shoots down, pushes a staple out, hammers it into the piece of wood. Pretty straightforward. Staple goes in there, lock it all up. Add some air. Now it's pretty safe in that the trigger doesn't do anything unless this is depressed. So what happens is you press that down where you want the staple. There's a little indicator mark that shows approximately where it's going to come out, and press the trigger. Now I've got it set, I think, at about 35 or 40 psi or something like that, which results in pretty much a flush staple. Bit of glue on the joint. Keeping my fingers well away from the business end. And we're done. Yeah, that's good. I suppose I don't need to go that far in, maybe 180. And here it could be 50 at the most. First I'll rip off a strip at 50. That's for along the side. Now I'll come back through at 180. That's for along the side. Now I'll come back through at 180 for the front and back. Piece of cake. So here's my tops. They're a different ply. They're a 9mm ply with a nicer finish, since they're going to be a bit more visible. Let's whack them on. Now I don't really know what this bit for my router is called, but what I do know is it'll cut a nice rebate for me. So when I run a piece of wood through it, the wood should roll on the bearing and cut out a rebate right there. I'll stop this one short of the end to show how it does it. So it comes in and the bearing runs along this bottom edge here, and the cutter cuts the top edge away. If you look at it where I stopped it, you can see where the cutter's been cutting into here and leaving this Nice little rebate. When you get to the end, it will tear a piece off because the cutter's spinning flat out in this direction. As it gets to the end, particularly if you're going across the grain, it'll just rip a chunk off, which can be a real pain. And here's an example where the grain in the plywood goes the opposite direction and it's torn a small chunk out. Worse with a router is when you get to the edge of a really nice piece of wood like this, it will always take a chunk off. The 15mm ply I'm using for these supporting edges is too thick for my 15mm staples, so I'm going to use these brad nails, which are 25mm. I don't like using these brad nails, they're not as reliable in my staple gun, they often get jammed and it gets a bit messy. I end up with false holes where it didn't work. It's going together alright. You can see my little rebate there. The logic being that it'll locate nicely. It'll locate nicely on the inside of there, like this. Now this isn't actually critical. I could have just gone either on the top or on the side, but you know, I'm just playing here and it looked like something I might have been able to do, so I've had a go of it. I haven't done it along this edge here because this is quite tight against the wheel arch, so I don't really have the space to have a bit more wood in the inside. So this is going to be sitting on top and this will sit rebated in. I'm just going to whack that on now. So that's it, ready to go in. Nice rebated edge there. Let's see if it fits. This is how it looks. Now just to recap what I've done, the bottom is 7mm crappy ply, same sort of stuff that I've done the interior lining with. It's not structural and it doesn't have to support any weight. The flat piece on top I've actually gone for a 9mm ply, not because of its strength but because it is a nicer finish. Now for the uprights, these are the bits that are actually going to be supporting the weight. Now the load is being put right through to the wheel arch. It's got these flat areas I may have showed you before. So the load's going down onto the wheel arch. Then I'm going to screw a top plate across, which will support the sink and any cupboards and stuff that I put in here. You might notice there's a bit of a gap at the back there that's well inside the cupboard. I've left it short deliberately to avoid some other lumpy bits down the bottom. And I haven't done the lining in there yet, so I'm not too worried about that. So this is just missing a top now, which will be fairly straightforward, but first I want to work out what I'm doing here for the end of the bar top. Offcuts are where it's at. So here's a couple of offcuts that are going to form the back wall. The front wall, another offcut right there, and then the bench top goes on top like that. It's got a bit of an overhang for drawer fronts, and we'll have hopefully a sizable drawer coming out the front there to give us some storage. And the drawer. Now this is a fairly simple drawer, but it's a weird design in the sense that I want this to be the front once it's open, so that's nice and low to give us plenty of access in there, and it hasn't yet got a back on it because I need to design that around the plumbing. So this is my waste. I'm guessing that I need to fit it to the sink and then still fit the whole thing through the hole. So I'm going to go for a hole big enough to do that. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Another day of crazy and weird designs at Bustaz. All of the stuff now, I'll pull it back out and it's ready for our vlogger, I mean our painter, to do her thing. So next time you see it, it'll be black and beautiful, no doubt, and ready to be reinstalled. So take care, like and subscribe and hit all the buttons, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Mā te rā.